Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Benoon. I'm the city manager for the city of Newark, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the 2022 State of the City Address. It is an absolute honor and privilege to introduce to you our keynote speaker, the Honorable Alan L. Nagy, Mayor of the city of Newark. Mayor Nagy has a long-standing career of distinguished and dedicated service to our community and to our city. In fact, he has served continuously as a city council member since he was first elected in April of 1980, over 42 years ago. He is very active in our community and serves in many capacities. Besides being the mayor, he has served as delegate to the Southern Alameda County Geographical Information System, JPA, the Community Development Advisory Committee, the Dumbarton Rail Policy Advisory Committee, and the Political Action Senior Action Plan. This is a long list. There'll be a test later. He's also chair of the Newark Senior Citizens Advisory Committee. He's a member of the League of California Cities Revenue and Taxation Policy Committee, and he is an alternate on the Alameda County Library Advisory Committee, the Association of Bay Area Governments, and the East Bay Community Energy Board of Directors. He's also involved in a whole host of civic and charitable organizations. Those include the Newark Library League, Viola Blythe, and Boy Scouts of America. And finally, I would be remiss if I failed to mention that he frequently volunteers with the Newark Graffiti Abatement Team. So with that, I ask that you please join me in welcoming our humbled public servant.
Well, welcome to the 2022 State of the City Address. I want to thank you for joining us today in our new council chambers. And for those of you who are watching remotely, we thank you for tuning in. I had hoped last year to deliver our State of the City Address to you from right here in our council chambers. Unfortunately, the council chambers wasn't quite complete. We were also in the midst of COVID-19 and dealing with indoor masking requirements and social distancing, so we proceeded with bringing our address to you virtually. Going virtual, however, did provide us an opportunity to expand and engage with our community and allow more individuals the ability to tune in and from the comfort of their homes. I must say, it is a pleasure this year to be able to come to you live and in person in a room full of guests. Joining us is my wife, Connie, who I want to acknowledge and thanks for being here today. She's been a great supporter throughout my career on the City Council. And Connie, thank you for your patience and support. I'm grateful to also be joined today by my colleagues on the Newark City Council. It's been such a pleasure to serve with the same enthusiasm as I in representing and serving the members of our community. Vice Mayor Mike Hannon has served on the council for a total of 8 years and previously served on our Planning Commission. Next, Councilmember Louis Freitas, and Councilmember Freitas has been on the council for 27 years, and he is joining us tonight live via Zoom. Our next council member is Susie Collazo, and Susie has served 11 years on the City Council. And last but not least is our Councilmember Mike Bucci, and Councilmember Bucci has served on our council for 8 years. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight, but does send his regards. Combined, we provide over 97 years of council experience to the city of Newark. I do want to thank the council for the time and efforts that they've given towards our community. Now I'd like to turn to our Planning Commission. The Planning Commission reviews and takes actions on planning applications and makes recommendations to the City Council on land use issues. From our commission, we have Chair John Becker, Vice Chair Bill Fitz, Commissioner Jeff Aguilar, Commissioner Debbie Otterstetter, and Commissioner Lori Bogasich. And next, I'd like to introduce our city manager, who you just heard previously, And I do want to give special recognition and thanks to David and the city's executive team. They continue to do an exceptional job guiding the council through these challenging times and executing responses to our services and programs that help address our community's needs. I want to also thank city staff and our planning commission for their dedicated efforts in getting the job done and responding to our community's needs, especially in these challenging times as we work through COVID-19. And I also want to thank our volunteers who have given of their busy schedules to help support our community. It's the collaborative efforts of all of us, council, planning commission, city staff, and volunteers, and yes, even our families, as much of the work we do affects them as well. It takes all of us working together as a team, and that's the spirit that makes unique, and I couldn't be more proud to be part of this special group. It has been our vision since our forefathers to make Newark a livable, inviting city, a place where we can live, work, shop, and play, and we've never lost sight of that vision. We focused on economic issues, public safety, development, facilities, and have implemented programs and services that enhance the lives of our citizens. We've been very successful in these areas, and I think you'll agree that the city has grown into a thriving community. The growth of our city, however, has not always come easy. There were times that challenged and tested our strength, much as we faced in March of 2020 when the world was placed into lockdown in defense against COVID-19. We faced day-to-day uncertainties just like the rest of the world, not knowing how the virus would affect us. Here we are over 2 years later, and we are still dealing with the pandemic. The good news is we've learned how to take proactive measures and learned that by working together, we can move forward. Although many of us have turned to work, seen businesses reopen, and people getting out in public and attending games, get-togethers, and events, we are still aware that COVID-19 is a reality and that we must continue to be vigilant. Besides the effects that COVID-19 has had on our day-to-day activities, COVID-19 has also made an impact on our budget. Mandated stay-at-home orders and a declaration of local emergency coupled with high unemployment rates, business closures, and travel restrictions all brought with it financial hardships that would impact city services and revenues. We were forced to close city facilities, cancel programs and services, make cuts and concessions, and institute the use of reserves, all while continuing to serve the public. The loss of revenue caused by the pandemic affected our transient occupancy tax, which is the hotel tax, and charges for service. Prior to the pandemic, the city expected to receive over $7 million in transient occupancy tax revenues by the end of the fiscal year 2020. In contrast, the city received $2.9 million in fiscal year 2021, and we anticipate receiving about $3.7 million this fiscal year. We also faced a major concern had the extension of the utility users tax not been approved by our citizens. It expired, it would have meant a loss of at least $3.3 million or 5% of city's revenue. Unfortunately, revenues from charges for service, which includes charges for recreation services, has been seen a significant decline in attendees during the second half of the budget cycle. We continue to see less attendees, but expect that trend will not last long. Although we have felt the strain of COVID-19 on our budget and continue to face the amount of uncertainty, we are pleased to report that we are in a much better financial place than we had anticipated. Property tax and sales tax, the city's primary revenue sources, have been tracking higher than initially forecast. Thanks to the addition of new housing developments throughout the city and a strong housing market, property taxes tracking higher year after year. Over the past 10 years, property tax revenues has doubled, increasing from $11.8 million in fiscal year 2012 to over $25.9 million this fiscal year. We project it will increase to $34.5 million in fiscal year 2027. Although inflation does cause concerns with higher prices to the consumer, it in turn contributes to increases in sales tax revenues that the city receives. The voter-approved passage of Measure PP also contributes towards a better financial picture. Measure PP authorized the extension of the utility users tax, which is a 3.25% tax levied on natural gas, electricity, cable TV, and telecommunications. The utility users tax continues to provide a stable source of revenue. The American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, better known as ARPA, is a relief program with $1.9 trillion in funds allocated to states, local, and tribal governments that have been negatively impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Newark's share of the ARPA funding is $11.8 million. We would focus the use of these funds on revenue replacement, negative economic impacts, services to the disproportionately impacted communities, infrastructure, administrative, and public health. We dedicated 40% of the funds to revenue replacement, of which $905,000 will be allocated to non-personnel budget restoration and almost $4 million allocated to personnel budget restoration, funding 8 positions we previously froze due to budget constraints. 60% of the balance will be used to fund specific projects and programs, which include $1.5 million towards small business grants, $300,000 will go to nonprofit agency grants, and staff is currently working on a process and procedure that is equitable for all nonprofits that sustain losses from the pandemic. $280,000 is dedicated to the Chamber of Commerce Assistance with hopes to have an agreement to council for consideration that will contain a benchmark and metrics for a successful, viable Chamber of Commerce. We also dedicated $1.5 million to affordable housing. Earlier this year, we expressed interest to fund the Cedar Community Apartments project. $1.3 million is dedicated to the Newark Family Resource Center and the Bilingual Preschool Promotories Program and Teen Program. We've dedicated $210,000 to child care and recreation program scholarships. $150,000 will go to Old Town Newark Business Assistance and $100,000 to the Old Town facade improvements. $200,000 is dedicated to a broadband master plan and $1 million to a potential broadband infrastructure project. The goal is to provide broadband to not only city facilities, but to the community as well. We hope to include 5G and service all areas of the city. We have dedicated $250,000 to community development public outreach software that will enhance the user experience and make our city government more accessible to our community. $100,000 will go towards administrative costs such as consultants and staff costs. And finally, $10,000 will go to COVID-19 vaccination incentives that we've been distributing through gift cards. Aside from the use of the ARPA funds, we use general fund revenue to add new positions and restore positions that were previously frozen. Although we're in a better financial position than previously anticipated, we do know from experience how quickly the economy can turn. We must be prepared and ready for any unexpected dips in the economy. This is why we'll continue to plan well, remain fiscally conservative, continue to build our reserves, and monitor our budget to ensure we are able to successfully serve our citizens and the business community. Speaking of our business community, we'd like to emphasize that we are a business-friendly city and value the rewards that business brings. We have a strong Bay Area economy with an emphasis on businesses of all types. Knowing the strain the pandemic placed on businesses, we moved swiftly to do what we could to support them. We started with a temporary moratorium on evictions for non-payment of rent caused by income loss resulting from the pandemic. This moratorium, which remains in effect, applies not only to residential tenants, but commercial tenants as well. We also approved an urgency ordinance authorizing the Community Development Director to issue COVID-19 minor use permits and waive requirements of the zoning code to facilitate business operations impacted by COVID-19. We created, along with the Newark Chamber of Commerce, the launching of the Newark Gift Card Marketplace, a one-stop shop of e-gift card choices for Newark shops, restaurants, services, and entertainment venues. As a further incentive to shop locally, we offered free bonus gifts where shoppers received additional money towards their purchase. We also placed a temporary service fee cap, 15%, on third-party food delivery companies such as DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. We would also, in partnership with the East Bay Economic Development Alliance and Spectrum, connect with our business community to learn who our business owners are, what issues they have faced because of the pandemic, and what we could do to help them through this difficult time. Through outreach workshops, which were provided in multiple languages, and one-on-one advising, we obtained the valuable data to assist us in our quest to learn our business needs and provide them with the tools and information they need to succeed. We also offered small business grants under the Exceptional COVID Grant Program, where self-employed workers as well as business owners who contract for their services could apply. Awards were given up to $20,000. We had 146 applicants apply, with 110 of those being eligible and candidates, and we had 82 applicants awarded a grant with an average dollar value of $17,611 for a total funded awards of $1,440,100. We had learned that out of the 82 recipients who were awarded a grant, 83% were shut down for 6 months or more. 89% reported losing more than 50% of revenue from 2019 to 2020, and 48% owed back rent. And that back rent average amount was about $16,270 as being reported. And 85% reported using their own monies to pay their business expenses. Unfortunately, 19 small businesses closed for good at the end of last year. We'll continue to advise, hold workshops, provide referrals, and extend our support to our business community so our businesses can keep their doors open. Turning now to developments, it's exciting to see how far Newark has grown in our residential housing development. Throughout the years, we have had a catalog of projects on our list. One of our latest additions is centrally located off of Newark Boulevard. It's a small community of 9 traditional new single-family homes built around a private cul-de-sac. This project, which is built by Classic Communities, is called Classics at City Center. To date, 7 homes have been sold and closed. 1 is available, and the last remaining home was just released last Friday. It's rewarding to see the transformation that's taken place there. We also see construction continue at Bayside Newark. Bayside Newark consists of several residential communities at various stages of construction, completion, or on the market. Projects currently under construction at Bayside Newark is Lennar's Bridgeway development, and Bridgeway is a master plan community of single-family homes and condominiums. Harbor Point, also by Lennar, joins Bayside Newark. It includes 192 units, including single-family homes and duplexes that are currently under construction. Also at Bayside Newark and in the work is FMC Willow, and that's a 279-unit development of townhouses, attached single-family homes, and 90 affordable housing multifamily units. Bayside Newark will hopefully one day be home to the city's first transit center on the Dumbarton Rail Line that will connect the peninsula in Redwood City to Union City. Construction of the rail station, which may be many years away, would complement the vision of the Bayside Newark area as a walkable, transit-oriented neighborhood. Another project that we're working on is Project Home Key. Project Home Key is a statewide effort to rapidly expand housing for persons experiencing homelessness or a risk of homelessness. It goes without saying that the effects of COVID-19 have only exacerbated the number of individuals affected by the housing crisis. Home Key legislation includes a state statute that requires a streamlined local approval process for the conversion of existing buildings into affordable and supportive homes. The proposed location in Newark is a Town Place Suites extended stay hotel off of Cedar Boulevard. If funded by the state and approved by the council, the hotel will be converted into 124 affordable residential units to be known as the Cedar Community Apartments. Every household would sign a lease and must pay rent every month. Tenants will be welcome to stay as long as they pay their rent and follow the lease rules. Earlier this year, city staff applied to the state's Home Key Grant Program for a possible grant of up to $39 million and allocated $1.5 million of American Recovery Plan Act, the ARPA funds. We also have designated $4.5 million from the city's Housing Impact Fee Fund to acquire Town Place Suites with abode services and applied housing, providing resident services throughout the Home Key program. Abode Services is recognized as an expert in homelessness, services, and housing programs. Should the grant application be approved and all financing sources secured, staff will prepare an affordable housing agreement for council approval and fully commit those funds for the project. This year, we are also updating our housing element, a plan for all of the housing needs in our community. The shortage of homes at prices that everybody can afford impacts all of us. As part of the city's general plan, all cities and counties in California are required to adequately plan to meet the housing needs of everyone in the community. Earlier this year, we did a lot of community outreach, including reaching out to the public with a community survey asking for input and a once-in-a-decade opportunity to help us shape the future of our housing and the places we work, live, and love. The plan includes a final draft submitted to the state for final certification in January of 2023. We also see 2 hotels on our horizon, Hyatt House Hotel and AC Marriott Hotel. Hyatt House Hotel is scheduled to be completed this summer and will offer 113 rooms. AC Marriott Hotel plans are under review and may go to the Planning Commission this fall. If approved, it will offer 132 hotel rooms. We also expect construction to start next year on the Timber Street Affordable Housing Project, which will bring 79 affordable senior housing units. The project was approved last fall, and we are currently in the process of getting tax credit financing from the state. Another of our latest projects focuses on the New Park Place Specific Plan. The city's general plan and the New Park Place Specific Plan's vision is to transform the greater New Park Mall into a premier, vibrant urban place throughout thoughtful land use design. This includes modern residential areas, generous retail and dining opportunities, community venues, a world-class movie theater, inviting pedestrian-oriented streets and public spaces, and enhanced sidewalks, bicycle lanes, and transit facilities, creating a premier Bay Area and local destination. Last year, the city and Brookfield Properties, the owner of New Park Mall, began implementing a New Park Place Specific Plan. Work is currently being done on that considered phase a residential project will focus on the north end of the mall, near Citibank and where Sears Auto Center was once located. This includes a residential retail mixed-use project with a total of 319 units, of which 29 will be designated affordable units. Residential amenities and retail services will be on the ground floor. Plans also include a private parking structure. A new 161,000 square foot Costco, including a 32-pump gas station, is slated to join the area at the southern end of the mall, replacing the Burlington Coat Factory and JCPenney buildings, which is currently being demolished. On the business front, despite the ill effects caused by COVID-19, some businesses are still doing well. In October last year, Aspire Bakeries held a ribbon cutting for its Newark facility. This location enlarged its bakery capacity to meet the demands with the addition of a new frozen cookie dough production line for its Otis Spunkmeyer cookies. And just last month, we celebrated with Vector Laboratories on the relocation of their corporate office to Newark, where the facility will enhance the company's research and development capabilities, including new laboratory and office space. We also welcomed FreeWire, makers of charging systems for electric vehicles. As we head into the future of sustainability, it's exciting to celebrate not only the growth of our business community, but the addition of a business that leads the way in clean, renewable energy. And earlier this month, Biotechny, located at the Pacific Research Center, completed the expansion of their facility, adding 12,000 square feet of laboratories in product development, test, and professional services. Biotechny is a leading company in the life sciences research sector. We also see Lucid, makers of luxury electric cars, expanding into yet another site, adding an additional 70,000 square feet and bringing their total building area to over 800,000 square feet. Lucid employs well over 1,000 employees and was awarded the 2022 Motor Trend's Car of the Year, an award considered to be one of the most prestigious in the automotive industry. Cepheid, Newark's second largest employer after Lucid Motors, employs 1,200 people. They make tests for hundreds of diseases with a specialization in PCR tests and the tests we know well because of the COVID-19 pandemic. They also make a test that identifies flu A, B, or COVID-19 and is ideal for use in hospitals or clinics. They produce 100,000 tests a day, 7 days a week, over 36 million tests a year. It's no wonder they're expanding by 70,000 square foot building, with another building adding an additional 160,000 square feet of operations and manufacturing. It's inspiring to see Newark's growth. We are home to businesses on all spectrums, from mom and pop shops to businesses on the cutting edge of technology. Businesses are contributing to the health and well-being of our community. In keeping with our public's health and well-being, I'd like to turn now to public safety. The level of crime in the Bay Area is concerning. In Newark, we have observed increases in robbery, assault, theft, vehicle burglaries, illegal drug use, and other crimes. Traditional crime reduction methods such as probation and parole searches, warranted sweeps, and targeted enforcement were thwarted due to alterations in response model, increased risk of exposure, and staffing shortages due to quarantine mandates resulting from the pandemic. We take our public safety seriously and continue to keep it a high priority. We are committed to improving the quality of life by being proactive and innovative. We conducted a community survey asking the public to voice their concerns on police services as well as the relationship between the community and law enforcement. Overall, our police department received and this is just amazing, a 92% approval rating, which is very commendable during these times when law enforcement agencies have been struggling with negative public perceptions. This is, I've got to give our... I don't know of any city that can stand here and say that they've got a 92% approval rating with their police department, but this is one proud mayor and one proud city council that appreciates the role of the men and women of our police department. And I want to acknowledge Chief Anderson for her role as chief and commend her, as well as our police personnel, for an excellent positive approval rating. I think it's just wonderful. The responses we received from the survey, respondents' main concerns were focused on crime, sideshows, homelessness, and illegal fireworks. With the uptick in crime, we've initiated partnerships with local business groups such as the Chamber of Commerce and provided public education presentations to community groups such as Merchant Watch, Neighborhood Watch, the Citizens Police Academy, and homeowners association groups. We direct officers to provide high visibility patrols between calls for service of areas in the community that have shown a high incidence of break-ins and thefts. We thoroughly investigate and work with our regional investigative counterparts to identify patterns and suspects from coordinated burglary and robbery crews that target shopping centers and hotel parking lots, including investigative work in residential neighborhoods such as vehicle or package thefts. It takes all of us being vigilant, working together, and communicating to stay informed. Information from community members allows us to prevent and solve crimes. We're also hiring a crime analyst who will collect, organize, and analyze data that will be used to assist our officers in public safety response and focus on emergent community problems. When it comes to sideshows, we do not welcome it. They are dangerous and cause great disturbance and damage. When we learned of planned events, we devote resources and work with neighboring law enforcement agencies to deploy officers as a part of a task force to address this regional problem. Our traffic unit also conducts ongoing officer educational training in sideshow enforcement. We've also So we submitted our Selective Traffic Enforcement Program grant funding request through the Office of Traffic Safety to include additional funding to support our ongoing efforts addressing sideshow activity. In addition, when an officer is in a position to and have legal authority to remove violators' vehicles from the roadway, we have done so. And let's talk about homelessness. Homelessness has also been an ongoing issue facing our community. A recent sheltered and unsheltered report conducted in February by Everyone Home identified 26 sheltered individuals and 32 unsheltered for a total of 58 homeless individuals included in Newark's count. Now, this is lower than previous counts back in 2019 of 89 homeless individuals. Of the unsheltered population in Newark, the report identified 12 individuals living in tents, 6 in a car or a van, 7 in an RV, and 7 individuals living on the streets or outside. What's painful to realize is the number of homeless individuals there are in Alameda County. The report identified over 7,135 individuals living in tents, cars, vans, RVs, on the streets, or in abandoned buildings. There is an assumption that all homeless individuals are criminals, and homelessness is a complex social problem. Not all homeless individuals are criminals. Some individuals prefer living on the streets in an unsheltered environment and refuse assistance, while many individuals have become homeless due to economic setbacks. Unfortunately, there is an assumption as well that when citizens see homeless individuals living on our streets, that we just don't care about the public safety or the health concerns that are associated with homelessness. That is quite the opposite. It is not ideal for any individual to be homeless, let alone living unsheltered. While the county has observed an increase in those experiencing homelessness, and Newark has observed a decrease, and the truth is that one single person who is homeless is unacceptable. We do meet with our homeless individuals and encourage them to obtain social service assistance from the county. We also will continue to explore more permanent solutions, such as additional affordable housing projects. The county has adopted a homeless action plan called Home Together that contains a 4-pronged approach to reducing homelessness in our area, including forming programs and initiatives to prevent homelessness, connecting people to shelters and services, adding housing solutions, and increasing communications and coordinations. We will work with the county as well to help implement this plan. In response to the community's concerns of illegal fireworks, we adopted an ordinance adding Chapter 7.24, the Fireworks Social Host Ordinance, to the Newark Municipal Code. The Fireworks Social Host Ordinance establishes strict liability for social hosts that allow the deployment of illegal fireworks on their property or at their hosted gatherings. The city has received significant community complaints over the amount of illegal and dangerous fireworks that are lit each year. The Fireworks Social Host Ordinance basically means that if you host a party or people gather on your property and light illegal fireworks, you may be fined up to $1,000, including the possibility of being fined more than once. Even if you aren't the person who lit the illegal fireworks, you could be fined. As a social gathering host or the property owner, you are responsible for your guests or those on your property. Only state fire marshal approved safe and sane fireworks bearing the seal are allowed in Newark. Let's make this 4th of July a safe celebration free from illegal fireworks. Speaking of celebrations, I'm pleased to report that we held the official grand opening of our new Civic Center, home of the David W. Smith City Hall, the Allen L. Nagy Library, and our new police station. This is a historical moment for us. The original City Hall has served us well for over 55 years, and our now fully functional City Hall will serve us for years to come. We also have a new police station that contains modern, up-to-date crime-fighting technology that will aid our officers in responding to crime trends. And finally, we have a brand new, state-of-the-art, 2-floor, 25,000 square foot library that is the envy of all who visit. The first floor of the library is designated the children's area and features a storytime room and a community meeting room that can seat up to 100 people. The second floor holds adult and teen seating areas and collections. Guests can visit the Curiosity Shop and participate in self-directed building activities or attend a workshop on 3D printing, sewing, use of an automated vinyl cutter, among other activities. There are also 3 reservable conference rooms and a 4th used for classes, including the availability of desktop PCs and laptops for public use. Since the library has opened, we have seen a constant flow of guests, and that tells me just how popular it is. I do want to thank the community for recognizing the need and voting for a funding mechanism to help pay for the new Civic Center project. The grand opening was held last month to an enthusiastic crowd eager to tour the new facilities, enjoy some live music, play games, and visit informational booths. It was a great opportunity for the community to come out, spend time with one another, and make connections by learning in a fun and inviting way what services in their community are available to them. The Civic Center is a project that has been cultivating and talked about for years. A new center is something that our community deserves, and I'm excited that we are finally able to present to our citizens a center that they've long waited for. Yes. This has really been a dream come true, and it's finally a reality. So, another event I'd like to talk about is Newark Days. Newark Days is back this year after being 2 years on hold. We couldn't be more excited to see it return. Newark Days is a 4-day festival held to commemorate the city's birthday. This year it'll take place from September 15th through September 18th, with a parade held on Saturday, September 17th. For anyone who hasn't attended Newark Days yet, or anyone interested in attending, please be sure to mark the date on your calendars, and you can visit at newarkdays.org for event information. I do want to thank Shirley Sisk and the Newark Days Celebration Committee for the volunteer work that they do each year in putting on an eventful program. As you can see, like a ship on rough seas, we have faced many challenges, but I think you'll agree that we have not wavered from supporting our citizens and business community. The pandemic has taught us that when faced with challenges, we can adapt and overcome any obstacles. I once saw a quote that read, "I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." And that's just what we did. Just like the wind, the pandemic came at us strong. And although we weren't able to change its direction, we adapted and overcame the obstacles it presented. No matter what struggles we faced and continue to face, we'll always do what we can for the safety of our citizens and to ensure that Newark is a place where we can live, work, shop, and play. We will continue to stay on course, adjusting if needed, but most importantly, we'll always work hard for our community and do the best that we can to ensure Newark's success. Thank you for joining us today, and stay well, be safe, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.